Alright, so if I were to ask you what are the best feats in For Honor, a lot of you will probably give different answers, and the smart ones will probably say that it depends on the game mode and situation. You might say Warmonger's corruption feats are fantastic for a lot of different purposes. A great example of which would be using it on the commander in the last phase of Breach, in which case the defenders can't stop you from wailing on him without eating a lot of damage themselves and doing a lot of damage to him anyway. You might think of Blackbriar's Umbral Shelter, which effectively just gives 11 seconds of I don't care how much damage you do to me, it's not gonna matter. If you're really into anti-ganking or otherwise stalling, you might think of Tiandi's Vital Leech and Indomitable combo. This will give near unmatched survivability, especially against players that don't know how to gank properly. It will also proc the Shield Bug, which for those who don't know, upon exiting Revenge, you will keep all of your Revenge shield if your Indomitable 4th feat is active. Plus the ability to immediately cancel the cooldown of your 4th feat by healing with your 3rd feat is kinda nuts. However, there are 2 particular feats that are so bad that it might have just popped into your head just completely as a joke. And a joke is exactly what Slippery is on Raider. The description says you're immune to guard breaks for while the duration is active. However, in an actual game, this only applies to whenever you were able to manually counter guard break yourself. The only thing this feat does is actually input the counter guard break for you. I know that some of you who are watching this maybe aren't the best at the game, and that's completely fine. However, counter guard breaking is one of the very first things you learn how to do in the game, and once you actually know how to do it, there's no reason you should struggle to do so in the situation that this feat actually applies to. It doesn't require you to do a specific timing, it doesn't require you to have a good reaction time. It's just genuinely rendered completely useless to anyone who's rep 25 or higher. Next we have Punch Through on Conk. Now what this feat does is it basically doubles your chip damage, and this feat can be used to limited success on Shigoki with his Hyper Armored Heavies and Enhanced Lights, letting him do 5 damage on blocked light, 6 damage on blocked zone, 9 damage for blocked neutral heavies, and 10 for blocked chain heavies. It's still not worth the 3rd feat in my opinion, but it's alright. However, when you look at Conk, his chains are unblockable heavies, a bash, and lights that are not enhanced, so you won't be getting any chip damage there, and his neutral options are a bash, a light that's also not enhanced, and a heavier zone that do actually deal chip damage, however they don't have any special properties. And even then, it's only 9 damage up from 5 for his neutral heavies, and 6 damage up from 3 for his zone. Now lights will become enhanced when in Revenge or when the opponent's out of stamina, but at that point you're just doing significantly less effective offense just to justify picking this feat. So now I wonder, which characters are getting feat reworks in this next testing grounds? Berserker. Why him? Why does he deserve this? All of his feats are perfectly fine. His worst feat's probably Storming Trap, but 20 damage off a minute-long cooldown isn't that bad for a tier 1. And I can even see people getting ledges off of it if they place it just right. So why does he deserve a rework over Conk, whose feats are just straight up subpar across the board? Now when I made my Conqueror World Catch video, there was one comment that seemed to really stick with me, and it was that the dev team says they don't have a favorite, but they sure as hell seem to hate Conk. And honestly, yeah, that tracks. He was the last to get a World Catcher, and even then, it doesn't really work all that well and just has a straight up goofy animation, if I'm being honest. And now they rework feats on an already overperforming character over him when his feats just straight up don't work on him anymore. But anyway, rant over, and remember, reality's an illusion, the universe is a hologram, buy gold. Bye!